There's a moment where you mentioned to Helen Mirren that you've watched all the Fast and Furious movies. Wouldn't you recognize her from the Fast and Furious movies?
Listen, bro.
Is that the first time you met The Rock?
I think that was the second time. But I mean, it feels like the first time every time, you know? It was sick. Yeah.
Look, I might not have as much experience as you because I'm not super old like you, but I've seen all of the Fast and the Furious movies, lady. It's all about family.
There's a moment where you mentioned to Helen Mirren that you've watched all the Fast and Furious movies. Wouldn't you recognize her from the Fast and Furious movies?
Listen, bro. She was Hespera in that moment, and I was Billy Batson. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, actually, it should have been a line in, and you look remarkably like somebody that was in one of those, so you should know it's all about family. Oh, yeah, totally.
What about the newcomers on the cast? You got Helen Mirren, Lucy Liu. What's it like having them on set?
The coolest, starstruck every day.
That was amazing because we had these 3 parts to cast, and we were like, well, let's try and get like the biggest, best actresses we can. And they said yes, which was amazing. Like Helen Mirren said yes, Lucy Liu said yes, and then Rachel Zegler, who's like amazing. I mean, I hadn't seen her in anything when we cast her because West Side Story hadn't come out yet. But yeah, she's just amazing.
This cast is stacked. I mean, Helen, Rachel, Lucy, they're all incredible. They're all so nice, so welcoming.
Helen Mirren is just the greatest. Rachel and Lucy, I'm in love with all 3 of them. They're my favorite girls in the world. So.
I love my life.
Second movies can be darker, Empire Strikes Back type twists. Anything's in store for the cast like that?
Yeah. Yes. Period. No. Because that we hit.
You've been coached not to?
Yeah. It's like hard.
There's some darkness in there certainly, and it gets pretty emotional. But this one has more action and serious moments as well because it's just such a bigger movie. The first one was kind of like smaller and more personal, and this one is a personal too, but with big stakes.
Do we see some troubles for Billy maybe?
You definitely will. Yeah, I mean, he's matured a lot throughout his journey, and he's Billy's biggest thing. He's hyper focused on maintaining his family dynamic with his family, with the Shazamly, and he doesn't really know what's going to happen when he's 18. So I think he's just trying to be in the moment, be present, and enjoy being a superhero. But I would say that this movie is definitely. It was very lighthearted, very fun, but you definitely get to see the character arc.
The wizard gave me superpowers, and then everybody got superpowers. Now everyone's kind of like doing their own thing, and I'm the only one trying to keep it together.
You understand I'm a pediatrician.
Why does a pediatrician have the Annabelle doll in his office?
He probably didn't know about it. She just shows up where she shows up. Yeah. No, but I love putting in little Easter eggs like that. And there's more of that in the movie. So like Easter eggs to like other filmmakers and DC characters and all kinds of stuff.
There's already a superhero with a red suit with a lightning bolt on it. Aquaman is literally huge and he's so manly. And Batman is so cool. And I'm just me.
You learn stuff from the first movie where it's like, oh, I wish I could have done that differently or changed some things up, which we were able to do in this one. I mean, all kinds of stuff from little things like, in the first movie we tried having a hood on the cape, which he has in some comics, and this one was like, let's try doing it without, and you learned how to do some things better.
We definitely were blessed to have really cool costumes in the first one, but I think we just learned a lot of things. Like we used to have practical lights in the costume to light up the gauntlets and light up the chest, the thunderbolt. But when you wire through a suit that you're doing stunts in and all that stuff, and you're shooting, we shot in Toronto in the middle of winter, and wiring and all electricity does not work very well in really cold temperatures, batteries and all that jazz. So we took all the electricity out of the suit, which was helpful, but then also just had a cool redesign and gave it more of a, I don't know, kind of like a metallic lust, kind of worn metal kind of feel to the armor, which ties it, I think, more stylistically into a lot of the other armor patterns that you'd see in Wonder Woman or Aquaman or things like that,
In this world, there are heroes.
I feel the pain in my city wherever I go.
And there are villains. Heroes don't kill people.
Well, I do.
Is the JSA formed in this movie, or are they coming together for the point of this movie?
I don't know. You better ask Aldis.
God dang it. I can tell you that you're going to get it, of course, with Fate and Carter Hall. You're going to get the old and the new. You know, you're going to get OG, JSA, and then, of course, with Cyclone and Atom Smasher, you're going to get to understand and see what it means to feel out, you know, people who are new to the team, people who are just coming into discovering what this is. And that, the bonds that you see formed there really represent what the fabric of the JSA is. So, you know, that's all I can say safely.
What can you tell me about the team dynamic, and what do we know about them coming into this film?
Absolutely. Well, you know, Cyclone, played by Quintessa, so Maxine is her human name. Maxine and Al, my character, Atom Smasher, they both provide very fresh and new but different perspectives on Black Adam's whole ethos of morality, which, as we know, is much darker than a usual moral compass usually turns to. And so our dynamic, though, also, that's kind of maybe something that separates us a little bit. It gives us a little bit of friction. But at the same time, we both are meta-humans who are going to learn what it means to be a superhero, which I love, right? You have Aldis and you have Pierce Brosnan, who are playing Hawkman and Dr. Fate. They've done this for a long time. They're fully fledged superheroes, and they get to kind of champion us, right, and recruit us to the JS. So that dynamic of having these masters, these Jedis, if you will, teaching the younger bloods how to do this, that's part of the dynamic as well. But I just think it's so exciting. You get to watch two metahumans learn what it means to become superheroes.
My vision has shown me the future. You have two choices. You can be the destroyer of this world, or you can be its savior.
Going all the way back to Gene Hackman in the first Superman, you get these great character actors, you know, to play major characters in it. So you get Pierce Brosnan. You know, what's that like?
Bruh. Pierce? Bruh. That is a career highlight. God dang it, it's freaking 007. No, Pierce is one of the coolest brothers ever. And the thing that really impressed me the most was the fact that he's accomplished so much in his career. He literally is Hollywood legend royalty, right? But he still, when he got set, we stepping onto those beautiful sets we had built, he's equally excited as we are. He maintains the wonderment and the excitement. And I love to see that, because no matter how much you do in your career, you don't get jaded. You still have something that can keep that imagination, that creativity, that love of the craft alive. And he's so humble about it too. You know what I mean? He really is, man. That brother is a blueprint in how to be a superstar.
When we cast Fate, it just clicked. When we cast Pierce, it was like, oh, there it is. And he came in on day one with his charm, the accent, the swagger. There's a great line in the movie that we always talk about that we love from him, where he's consoling someone and they just basically ask, you know, if things are going to be all right. And he just delivers this great line where he's like, you know, we're going to take care of it. It's what we do. Like, and you believe it. It's fate. And it was a dream to have on set, and you could just feel when he'd walk on set, it just lifted up the entire cast, and they were just so excited to be with him. And he really bonded with all the young actors and with DJ. I'm telling you, it's pretty cool.
But he did. He was the last person that we cast in the movie, and it really kind of was like exactly what we needed. He was the glue of the film and of the JSA. And Pierce said to us, we were bonding with Pierce. We were hanging out as what producers want to do. He's a legend. And he told us, he said, you know, I've always wanted to play a superhero, or all my peers are in Harry Potter. And Hiram and I were kind of like, that's crazy that he's never been part of one of these universes before. So what an opportunity for us to really have him at the core of this movie. And Dwayne and him have such a cool thing happening. So it was a real honor for us.
Black Adam, what have your powers ever given to you? Nothing but heartache.
actors are always trying to get into some type of superhero franchise. Now that you're in one, what are the challenges that really come with it?
Man, doing right by the fans, of course, right? You really want to, there's of course going to be an expectation. You have the graphic novels, you have the comics, like you want to do right by that. And I think that's probably like the most important thing to all of us is really doing justice to that. No pun intended.
I kind of love that there's not like a whole lot of major expectations of like previous versions of your character. Is that kind of freeing that you can be one of the first ones to bring him in live action?
Absolutely. And so, I mean, there's definitely other takes of it, of course, that have come out on like a screen. But this is really the first time that we've seen Adam Smasher as a young man. As a young meta-human. And even in the comic books, he's always like much older and has he's a fully formed superhero. And so with this, it's nice to be able to have a starting ground that's still not the origin, but it's a starting ground that we can grow into that place in the comic books and then beyond it, hopefully.
What does it mean to represent DC in two major properties here? That's pretty special.
Yeah, it's really special. What? they getting it. It's very special, man. For me, it's amazing just because, one, how rare of an opportunity is that? And then to be doing it, it's a first it's first time we get Jon Stewart as Green Lantern, first time he gets his own film. This is the first time we get to see Hawkman in a feature film. So it really is a grand opportunity, great privilege, and something I'm very proud to have been able to be a part of.
What was it like in Hall H? What was that energy like to just premiere the footage?
Yeah, it made me like emotional, like it was just very special and something I'd never felt before, and just to see so many people be so like connected to like us and like want to be here to like see this film that we did was just like, wow, like this is real,
You do, you feel it. You feel, especially being in Hall H, 6,000, 7,000 people, and it's actually quite affirming. Because you see like Jama coming on and Dwayne, and they've been working tirelessly for 5 years, Jama, right? And then to play that little sneak peek and to hear the reaction, to be a part of that reaction, just makes you feel so good.
I just got goosebumps.
Yes. I think so. Well, yes, but also then I second guess myself sometimes, but I do have a solid ground when it comes to Freddy. Like playing Freddy is almost second nature for me. It's like I think if all the characters I've ever played, I think that Freddy is most similar to me, so it helps.